Getting to the money, I be getting to the back. People think I'm funny cause I always make them laugh. I ain't even being funny, I be really spitting facts. I'm about balance and I got talent. Every challenge I overcome. Low key is savage, never be average. Give me a task and I'll get it done. Minding my business whenever I come in. I'm handling business while I'm having fun. I ain't worried about winning, but that would be dumb cause there's no competition. I already won, huh? Yeah.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I will be discussing Jupiter and Gemini going retrograde on tomorrow. It'll go retrograde tomorrow to February 3rd at 21 degrees. Gemini is a mutable air sign. It's ruled by Mercury. Mercury is currently in Scorpio. And so we want to take those themes and things into account. And it lives in the third house. It's mutable. Mutable energy is flexible, adaptable, open to new ideas. Gemini's duality, the left and right brain. This can be devices, cars, siblings, neighbors, education, skills, learning, studying, reading. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and it lives in the ninth house. And this is about development, growth, the bigger picture, your beliefs, spiritual and religious practices, philosophy, long distance travel, like outside of the country, and marketing, public announcements, and public speaking, and your life experience that forms you. This is how you view success, luck. This is definitely going to be a lot of people having a lot of different opinions. The opinions that we form from our experiences, and information that we receive on a daily basis. What we think and perceive, so our perception, our ideologies, that kind of shape the ways that we view the world, and what that means for us when it comes to making long-term goals and things of that nature. On a global scale, I think education is going to come back into question. Retrogrades typically are about, reflecting, redoing, rethinking, revising, doing some internal work, delays, setbacks, confusion, miscommunication, and not seeing eye to eye when it comes to the difference of opinions that we have, simply because, people can only understand from what they've experienced. And so if you're not challenging yourself to expand your knowledge or to just listen and be open to hearing other people's points of view without having a response, this can be chaos, a lot of backbiting, degrading, trying to debunk other people's perspectives and beliefs. Just the real toxic, low vibrational back and forth arguing about something that you just don't see the way one other person sees, but doesn't make it less true or not. Um, so this, I think overall, we're gonna see a lot of debates on education, a lot of debates on travel issues, the travel industry. Unfortunately, we might see another really terrible plane crash, especially when it's going to square Saturn again, Saturn and Pisces. I'll give you the dates for those in just a minute. But just being mindful of the plans that we have set up, because this is definitely going to be about making plans, and so timing is going to be important. But yeah, I really hope there's not another school shooting, but we can definitely hear just like a lot of laws and legislations changing around what they want to do around stuff like that, or it could just genuinely be news stories reporting how things have gone since the last school shooting, or the destruction or lack of um, uh, care for planes, and whether they have the ability to do what they're necessarily supposed to do to be safe. Uh, um, this could be like issues with traveling long distance or outside of the country, especially for illegal immigrants, because it's going to be like passports and any kind of paperwork that has to do with people coming into a country. Um, so there could be a lot of stuff coming up with that. Um, a lot of these things we've already seen, right? Because we're talking about retrograde. So we're essentially assessing how well we're learning the lesson of Jupiter being in Gemini. It's a time to really sit back and think about those things. Has it benefited you? What have you learned? Um, and what can you change or expand on? Um, this is really probably more than anything going to be about what we're giving our energy to. Are we given to people who don't see our point of view and perspective, which isn't always necessarily a bad thing, because challenges breed um, growth, but there is a way that it can be done where it's not degrading, humiliating, um, tactless, um, and kind of making us feel bad or ashamed of where we lack, the knowledge that we lack, or the information that we don't have access to, um, or haven't gone to research about. Um, and so it's not what you do, it's how you do it, is what I'm getting here with this more than anything. If people are going to make you feel bad, then 9 times out of 10, these are going to be people that will be removed from your life, or there'll be bad blood there moving forward. We have to remember this is a very karmic time. We're talking about, we're like dead smack in the middle of eclipse season. And so be mindful and compassionate is probably going to be your best bet. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Be open to hearing people out, even if you disagree with their um, what it is they're saying, as long as it's not rude, disrespectful, or out of pocket. It's just like, it's just another person, that's their point of view, you know? And it should be healthy. That's what a debate is. That's what a conversation is. It's healthy banter back and forth. You say something, I say something back. You wait for that person to speak, and then you speak. That's what this transit is really teaching us, is that we can still have our own perspectives. We don't have to be on the same page necessarily. We're just having a conversation, right? And so I do know that Libra the Libra eclipse got people like, but I'm tired. And there are some people who've been nice. They've been quiet. They've been silent. They sat back. They tried to keep the peace, where I got the stinking thinking they're not going to be so open to just sitting down and taking uh, anybody's shit at this time. Um, and so stay grounded. Still be heavy to do, but it's like I've been waiting to say this shit to you for a long motherfucking time. But stay grounded, stay open, mutable, be flexible, adaptable, um, and be respectful. That's probably going to be your strongest skills here, is to let people vent. Just let them get whatever they got to get out. And so Gemini is going to take all of these themes, and it's going to break it down into details that you can understand in an easy way. So there's going to be like a lot of note taking, logic, rational thought, some kind of specific roadmap where you're putting the dots together to understand the point of origin of something. How did you arrive at that belief? Citing resources, like if you go to Wikipedia, you'll have a bunch of things that are written, but it's like, where did it originate from? And you get those, they're called cites, at the bottom of the page. These are really like teachers who kind of do these things, but people who want to learn and are curious about learning and willing to be like super focused with Mercury and Scorpio is like, I need to know what this means. Like, I want to understand this to its deepest depths, right? And so the support from Mercury being in Scorpio, I think, take advantage of that to go deeper. Listen to what people have to say, take mental note or actual notes, be intentional with what the information that you're receiving in any way. It doesn't just have to be in conversation. Anything that comes up that you're like, what? I don't, what? Let me find out more about that. Like, what you talking about? Well, if it piques your interest enough for you to say what, or you kind of do this right here, go deeper. Take that knowledge and information and go deeper. With the Pisces eclipse and Virgo eclipse coming in, you do well to receive some kind of spiritual message from being intentional with what it is you're trying to understand more of, getting to the root cause of issues, problems, conflicts, struggles, mindsets, what makes people tick, the darker side of things, fairness and balance. Why are those things important? Why are they important to you? How relevant are they? Is it worth it? And come to some kind of conclusion that can benefit you in some kind of way. Hold on, guys. Okay, sorry about that. Trying to come up with some kind of conclusion with that information that you receive. What do you want to do with it? And create some kind of roadmap or understanding to further help you expand on this spiritual journey. This could be getting information from the original source. I said that. So we're kind of taking broad concepts and breaking them down and getting really clear about where they come from and make them understandable in an easy way, make it teachable, connecting the dots, and coming to a conclusion without being scattered. And retrogrades can definitely make you a little bit scattered. I think Mercury in Scorpio is really giving you that super focus. And I don't think we're going to feel it the same, mostly because Jupiter has been in Gemini for a while. So we're kind of used to this energy. It's nothing new to us. The fact that it's going backwards is probably going to be more helpful. It's going to slow things down, which typically can be frustrating, annoying, and um, not easy, especially for like fire signs. I'd say mutable signs and air signs, right? Because we move at a much faster pace. And so we're like, why isn't this person getting back to me? I sent them an email, at 2, it's already 5. There'll be little nagging things like that. I think but for the most part, this is more helpful than it is frustrating. You'll have your frustrating moments for sure, but it'll be more beneficial, especially if you're intentional. And so another thing to keep an eye out for are the things that do interest you, the things that pique your interest, and your curiosity gets the tingling, and you can take that further to be like, how do I really want to move forward with this? What is it that I'm really trying to understand? Or you're having some kind of feeling, your intuition is bubbling up and it's trying to tell you, go deeper, go get a book, go research it, whatever your process is to understand that specific thing more in depthly. Jupiter on the lower expression, Jupiter and Gemini in the lower expression can be, again, challenging what's right or wrong, good or bad. Morals and ethics. And what you do on a daily basis, is it taking energy from you, or is it feeding you energy? Are you excited about moving forward, doing the research, something that's going to come supernatural to you? Like, you're not going to question it because you're doing it, right? You're going to do the research and paying attention to what those things are, as a form of understanding what your likes and dislikes are, your learning style, things of that nature. These things could really come up quite heavily, just showing you that these aren't just twinges of sparks of interest, or a need to do more research. It's going to lead to something bigger, a purpose, a greater experience, knowledge, even building better relationships, being social and communication, being able to communicate from different levels. I mean, it's going to happen in so many different ways for so many different people, but essentially, this is what broadening your horizons are, what expanding your knowledge or your mind is all about. But I like it retrograde because it happens when it's not as explosive. It gives you more time to deal with something in a way that's like, well, this is manageable. It's on your own time, it's in your own pace, and you might even be able to pick up what is trying to come to you in a way that's easier than if it's not retrograde. It could be a lot faster, a lot more chaotic, and it might not be as easy to grasp the information. I've gotten a few downloads from just going back and assessing ages 55 and up, marriage or single, single with kids, single without kids. And I just started to research these specific titles and what their relationships are. Why do they get into relationships? Why do they leave the relationship? What's the point of origin? What's the commonality in relationships, and why people are in them, why people stay in them? whether they're healthy, whether they're not healthy. Like, it really changed, is how I'll say it's helping me change my perspective on relationships. That led me to do a video for my parents without them being um in turmoil. I interviewed them individually and I interviewed them together and asked the same questions. And I just wanted to understand, like, you know, why did you decide to stay together after all these years, when we can clearly see, when I say we, I mean my siblings can clearly see that, there's tension there, or, what we might consider or look at as toxic. And what I found was something way, way, way deeper. It's a personal choice. And I think a lot of what's happening when we're looking or thinking about relationships today in our generation is the lack of explanation to that. A parent simply sitting down and saying, and not getting your children involved in the discord that you have going on as parents, but um explaining to them, like, this is between your mother and your father, stay out of it. And I think for people who haven't, it's not to bash anybody's parenting, by the way. I need to make that clear. It's just something that I really wanted to do for my own personal mental understanding. um so this isn't about bashing parenting, but parenting definitely plays a really big role on whether or not you're going to be successful in a relationship as an adult. It's not the whole story, but it's a pretty huge part of why a lot of relationships are not lasting as long as they did, a whole generation or so ago. I'm saying 55 and up. So whatever years those fall into, they're certainly not the same anymore. And I think it's because the children have assumed the frustration and hate that they've seen between their parents, that they've been put through between their parents, as a form of, I'm doing this for my mom, or I'm doing this for my dad, or, you know, this is my way of saying I'm not going to accept what my parents accepted in their relationships. And that's huge. That's really huge, because when I sat down and talked to my parents, they weren't angry. They was like, it's life, it's whatever. And they love each other, which is crazy, because a lot of us are not, from point of origin, we're not learning from that perspective. And so growing up now, we're looking at relationships as if it's a negative thing, a bad thing, something that needs to be fought, or boundaries that need to be put up. And I don't think that we're wrong for doing that or wanting that, because again, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. But when you don't learn the skills on how to do that correctly, it can come off, again, very chaotic, and in a way that's unhealthy, and it's literally blocking your blessings, or blocking your ability to be in relationships, because problems are going to arise. And so when a parent doesn't sit down with their child and excuse them from the turmoil, trauma, arguments, disagreements that they're having between themselves, and they involve the kids in a very unhealthy way, this is now their point of origin. So they're now going to grow up thinking they're going to start relationships right there. I'm going to put a stop to this. What you're not going to do. I'm not putting up with that. I have to make sure that this doesn't happen to me, or I got to get them first, type of stuff. And it's really unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate. But nonetheless, even after a certain age, like I said, you have to grow beyond the trauma of your childhood and past experiences enough to understand the root cause of it, so that you can move past it, not forget it, not deny it, not push it under the rug, not assume it didn't happen, not assume anything, but do your own research to find comfort in it, because it could be the very thing that's stopping you from getting a higher education, being a better person, learning to be more compassionate and understanding, although at the root cause, I think that's what we all intend to do. That's why most people stay in bad or unhealthy relationships, is because we have a deeper understanding, like, shit, I can be an asshole. So, who am I to judge? Let me try it again. But the real truth is that we lack the ability on how to deal with conflicts in a healthy way. So you guys, don't let these moments pass by without doing the work, because you're worth it. And these things are so small and simple. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I can promise you there are thousands of people from the research that I've done over the last 6 months that are going through the same exact thing, different story. It's so sad how many commonalities I found throughout each and every one of these people's stories, both real people, like people I don't know who are willing to answer these questions, and a lot of research that I just did listening to dating sites, uh, you know, dating professionals, or, dating pages and things that are around these types of relationships, and just like listening without judgment, being open to it, is like they're all saying the same thing in a different way, essentially, sadly, really. But depending on where your point of origin is and understanding and experiences that you've had, you're only going to hear it from that one side. This transit is asking us to expand beyond that one side. Go challenge yourself to go deeper. Read more, like get out there and you know, be more open to hearing other people's situations, because I promise you, spirit will not let you down in this process, however you choose to do that, to help you see that you're your own blockage because you choose to see something from a specific point of view. And again, that's not a good thing or a bad thing, but we're talking about learning how to manifest and being spiritual, how to break patterns and habits, mindsets and thought processes. You have to do that work. It's really up to you. It's really sad that we live in a world where, we don't have parents who know everything. There's no book that comes with parenting. It's fucked up, right? It's just real fucked up. And none of us deserve that. But you can take your power back by challenging yourself to go beyond what you know and have experienced through other forms, whatever that is for you. Everybody's learning style is going to be very different, but I challenge you to do the work. You will not regret it. What I did was, when I recorded my parents, and this is my way of giving my trauma from my parents away and letting it go and being peaceful with it, was when I recorded them, I put a footnote to my sisters and my brother and my two boys, like, this is the true story behind the trauma, you know? And we don't take a lot of time out to have these conversations with our parents, and neither do they. Um, but there could be a possibility of an opening for that at this moment. Take the challenge, you know, make it a family thing. Um, Take some time to build stronger bonds and open people up to the possibility of change, whatever that means or looks like for you. And so I hope that that information is helpful to people and that you take on that challenge. I promise you, you won't regret it. It was absolutely life-changing for me, and my parents were like all giddy. It was so weird to see them like that, but it was cute at the same time. Um, but anyways, I digress. So Jupiter in Gemini will square Saturn in Pisces on the 24th and 25th at 14 degrees of December. And Mercury in Sagittarius retrograde will oppose Jupiter in Gemini, November 25th to December 16th at 22 degrees. And obviously I'll talk more about those things during those times, but I wanted to give you the dates now. I hope you write them down, put them on your calendar, because at those times, this specific transit and the information that I'm giving you in this video today are going to heighten. There'll be added perspectives to it, and we'll keep working on it and working through it until we get it right, for those who actually really want to do that. So, as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.